Welcome to Small and Supercharged Podmas, a series of chatty podcasts that were first broadcast as lives in the Small and Supercharged Facebook group on the run-up to Christmas. Each short podcast features a member of the mastermind group talking all about what they have got going on this Christmas. Listen, enjoy, screenshot, share to stories and share your support of these amazing small businesses. And equally, if you want to catch up with some lives, we have got them running all throughout December over in the free Small and Supercharged Facebook group. Just search Small and Supercharged and you will find the Burgundy group. I hope you love them. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are joined by the fabulous Jane Badger from Jane Badger Books, who has got lots of really cool things to talk to us about today. Jane, well, actually, I'm going to let Jane introduce herself because I keep pausing and I'm annoying myself. Talk to us about some of the really cool things you've got going on for Christmas and some of your latest developments too.
Well, I run Jane Badger Books, which is about reintroducing classic pony books to the world. That's some of my collection. There are hundreds more. My poor husband, who collects cricket books, has had to sort of, just basically budge over. Cricket books have not made it into the shelves. But anyway, I mean, a few years ago, I decided that as pony books were quite hard to find, and there weren't any ebooks. And I like an ebook because, I'm not the world's best sleeper. And ebooks are really handy at night because then you don't wake people up. So I thought that would be a brilliant thing to do. And I actually started with this one, which is Dream of Fair Horses by Patricia Litch, who you might know from the Ginny series. And that one, it's a lovely book. I do like that one. It's not a typical pony book because it's about sort of love and loss as well. And although she does sort of get the pony, well, anyway, I won't spoil it for you by telling you how it ends. But that's how it started. And then I got into doing paperbacks as well, which was, gosh, that was a learning curve. That was this one. This was my first one as well, and I think it took me about 3 months, start to finish, to do it. I can now do it in about a week, so I've got a lot better. I now do over 40 titles. They're all available as ebooks. Lots of them on Kobo as well as Amazon, and I think it's 20 odd that are available as paperbacks. Not all of them, because I can't get the permission for all of the illustrations yet, though I'm working on that. So we've got ones like Josephine Pullen Thompson. That's the first of the 6 ponies series. And if you know the Bullen family at all, they are really kind and have let me use the illustrations for this series. Just trying to find a good one. So all of the paperbacks have got the full illustrations, because if you do know the paperbacks that were reprinted by Armada, they did cut the illustrations. And they also cut lots of text. So these books have all the original text, as in the first editions. And that's another JPT one. And 4 of that series are available. I've gone for sort of shinier covers recently, and I'm struggling here with the light. There we go. That's another Anne Bullen one. And again, it's got the full illustrations. So if you want to wallow in nostalgia, there we go. This is a chance for you to do exactly that. I also published Diana Pullen Thompson, and there's one of those, and that's Shannon on the front, the Wolfhound, and again Anne Bullen illustrations, and there's our heroine cleaning tag. So that's just a few of those. What else can I tell you about paperbacks? Who haven't I covered? Oh yes, this year I did 2 really, really early ones, which are by Joanna Cannon, and she's actually Pullen Thompson's mother. And the Pullen Thompson sisters ran a riding school, and their mother shamelessly plundered them for copy. So she would be hanging around watching what they were doing, and it all popped up in her books. Again, it's got Anne Bullen illustrations. I do like that one. I like A Heavy Horse. And then there's the sequel, which is More Ponies for Jean. And one thing about Joanna Cannon, she did like a good solid descriptive title. So, and if you know the first one, I don't actually publish that. I do the second too. So
I'm going to join you back because I'm going to keep pausing, but I love this. I love, I know obviously what you do is incredible, but it's so lovely to see the illustrations as well, because they're properly nostalgic and brilliant, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I mean, I mean, it's a lot of work to put them in. But yeah, I mean, it's great. And the Bullen family are just amazing, because they encourage me to use them and let me use them. And that they just make all the difference, because I think it's so much part of enjoying the book is remembering the illustrations and what they were like. So yeah, they're great. So the Jill books, that's the latest thing that's going to happen.
And I think that Jill is such a key part of so many of us horsey, ladies particularly, childhood. It's so cool to see them back again. But you've got two different kind of things that you're doing with the Jill books, haven't you?
I do. I mean, these are going to be back. I mean, Jill's Gymkhana you can pre-order now on Amazon. It doesn't have a cover, basically because I don't know what the cover is going to be, because getting permission for the illustrations is still ongoing. So there's that, and then there's the Jill books that I've written some follow-ons, so which Horse and Hound have kindly reviewed. Just so this is one I wrote. I actually wrote it quite a long while ago. I did it just chapter by chapter on a forum that I was running at the time, and then people asked if it could be published, and eventually I did. It took me years for various reasons. I mean, if you read the Jill books, you'll know that at Pony Jobs for Jill, at the end, she's done lots of sort of horsey jobs, and none of them have really sort of come to much. And at the end, she's told by Captain Charlie Sawcut, "Oh, you're going to go off and do a secretarial course, and horses are just going to be your hobby." When I was little, when I was younger, I was thought, working with horses, that's what I'm going to do. My parents were, so, as I think quite a lot of parents must be. And, I sort of lived through Jill. I thought, well, if I can't do it, she can do it. And then I read that book and she didn't. She went off and did a secretarial course. So, I was absolutely shattered. Anyway,
Damn Jill for breaking our hope.
Much that, yes. Although ironically, I did actually go off and do a secretarial course myself after university, because I did one of those subjects which equips you with no practical skills whatsoever. And when I sort of emerged into the world of work, I thought, oh crikey, I need an actual skill. I need a thing I can do. So I went off to secretarial college, and the one I went to it does actually appear in here. So that was quite handy, because it was really, it was like something out of the 1950s, although it was 1980s when I was there. And so, so it lives again. It might still be going for all I know. Golly, I don't know. Anyway, there's a sequel out. It's out the paperback. So this is after Jill has done the secretarial thing. And in this one, she is back in Chatham, which is where the original stories are based. And it's not sort of going terribly well for her, and her books aren't selling, and the publishers are being rude about, which again is based sort of pretty much on life, because it's sort of the things that I know from the Pull and Thompsons when I talked to them that they were told. So I've shamelessly plundered them for copy. And poor Jill is at a loose end. She does borrow some ponies, and Black Boy and Rapide, I can tell you, do reappear in this, and also Anne Derry's wicked little sister Brenda, who is sort of mentioned in the books, but in this one she becomes well, you'll have to read the book, but yes, Brenda is in it in a big way. So Brenda is the curse of the pony club. Every D ride instructor's nightmare. That's Brenda. So anyway, the paperback is actually out now. I didn't manage to synchronize it, and the ebook's out tomorrow. So
wow.
Yeah.
And as you said, people can get these through Amazon, can't they? Or they can come direct to your website.
Yes, they can. They can come. The website will then send them off to Amazon. I will have a few signed copies of this on the website. So watch out for that. I have a Facebook shop as well, so I might pop them in there. It might work a bit better there. So that will happen before Christmas. And I'm writing a third Jill one as well. I hadn't been going to. People have said, "Oh, will you?" And I go, no. I've got two. That's all I want to write. And then I actually had an idea for one a couple of weeks ago, so I'm charging away with that one. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
If anyone has got any questions, someone has said lovely illustrations. I'm not sure who you are because it's just saying Facebook user. If anyone's got any questions for Jane about anything that Jane does or about the Jill series, it would be really lovely to hear them. So I remember Jill from forever ago, and it's so cool to see it all sort of reimagined, but it's actually but it's still very traditional, because I think sometimes you see things brought back with kind of a very modern twist, and you're like, that's not quite right.
Yeah. The books were adapted a bit as they sort of went through paperback editions, and the currency got altered, and there are other little changes. But I'm going to use the first edition text, so it'll be something. If she bought her riding gear for 10 and 6.
Oh wow!
So she bought Black Boy for £12, which seems incredible now.
That is a bargain, definitely.
Bargain.
Steph says, "How do you find selling on Amazon? It's something I'm considering for my own books."
It works well. I do some of the books on Kobo as well, and they are not big sellers. It is one of those things where, you post something and 3 or 4 people will go, "Why don't you sell on Kobo?" And then when you put the books on Kobo, you find those 3 or 4 people are the only people who actually want to buy from Kobo.
So is Kobo it's an online one, isn't it? It's a little bit like a sort of Kindle idea.
Yes, it is. It's the same sort of thing as Kindle. From a publisher's point of view, it's a lovely interface to use because it's very easy to load the books up. But sales on there are not great. And I think most authors would say that, if they self-publish, that Amazon is where the bulk of your sales are going to come. It just is. If one thing I'd say about Amazon is, if your book is non-fiction, don't put it on Kindle Unlimited. I did that with my Heroines on Horseback when I put that on as an ebook. And people don't read non-fiction, at least maybe I'm wrong, maybe I read other people's non-fiction in a great sort of going through it. Because Kindle Unlimited, the book is sort of free to people who belong to that. And you earn money when people actually read the book. The more they read, the more they earn.
Oh, I see. They don't have to buy it first. It's a different system.
No, they pay a subscription. It's a sort of subscription model. And then they pay this annual fee, or annual, I don't know if it's annual or monthly. And then every month, Amazon work out how many pages of the books have been read, and you get a certain amount in royalty according to how many pages have been done. And that works, in my view, it works really well for fiction. It really didn't work for me for non-fiction at all. So, Kindle Unlimited, when you load the books, you do it for 3 months. And then just put a note in your diary if you do it so that you review it. Otherwise, it just keeps on and on forever.
No, that's a fair point. Catherine has said, "Are you doing this for the love, or are you managing to earn from it too?" I'm not sure.
No, I do earn from it. I make a profit. I mean, all the business, the business I've done over the years, I do actually needs to make a profit. I can't just do things. I mean, obviously, the investment in the jewel books is going to be something something that does sort of knock the bottom line. But that's business. You have to invest, and then in order to make money. So no, it makes a profit.
It must be lovely to be able to combine that passion as well. I think we're all, well, not all, but some of us are very lucky that we can combine our passion and our love for things with a business as well. And obviously you are incredibly passionate about the books that you publish, that you write, that you share. And it must be lovely to be able to combine the two.
It is. Yes, it is. I mean, I am lucky. Yeah, I mean, I do have a sort of a day job, which has sort of become less as the publishing has sort of grown, and that is completely different because I do sort of lots of sort of contract proofreading work, and I'm literally proofreading contracts, and so it is completely different. It's a world away. So yeah, I am really lucky to be able to do it, and I'm really lucky that people buy the books and they are getting out there. So and next year we're planning to sort of widen out the distribution so that you can just go to your normal bookshop and actually order the paperbacks, or they will be stocked. So that's the big thing we're working on for next year. But
that's exciting.
Yes, but I want to get it right before we launch forth.
Definitely. Catherine says, have you found many heroes on horseback? I've written a pony book and people assume it's for girls, even though the main human character is a boy.
There are. The Pull and Thompsons are really good. I mean, because when they had their riding school, they did say they had as many boys come as girls.
Oh wow.
But that was sort of in wartime, the sort of 40s to 50s, and it has changed since then. I think the Pony Club would tell you that numbers of boys who join the Pony Club has gone. And I think there's a magazine now called, is it Boys Ride Too? I'm useless at remembering names.
No, I think you're right. I'm pretty sure the ladies in the Small and Supercharged, to the Small and Supercharged group. Yeah.
So that's really good because. I mean, boys do ride too, and these. I mean, although it's great because girls, are and remain, disadvantaged in a great many ways. It's good that boys have access to and don't view the horse world as something sort of pink and frilly and only for girls. And lots of. I mean, my son, learned to ride, and. I mean, it's great for him because he was, one boy, and the rest of the class were all girls. And there were, I think, when he was riding, they did. Oh golly, I think I can only remember 2 other boys in a large riding school across the classes that we experienced, and when we were, there in the day and things, they were really few and far between. So sorry, I'm wavering off the point a bit, but yes, I mean there are boys in the books that I published because they reflect an era when there were more boys who rode. No,
that makes perfect sense. So obviously I know you do publish quite a lot of different horse and pony books. What kind of age range do they start from? Thinking Christmas gifts, because I have to say there's a little girl at the boys' school who is, she's not horsey, which is annoying, but I do like to give books as presents because I am that parent. I'm like, oh, you should be educated rather than have a load of sugar. So what age do your books sort of start from in terms of how young people can start reading them?
Well, I think probably from about 9 onwards. Okay. I mean, if you're a reasonably confident reader, I mean, obviously language changes, over the decades. And so, I think you need to be reasonably confident. But I mean, from what people who give them to their children and grandchildren tell me, that they sort of, get over that hump of the different sort of language pretty quickly, and then they're in. Some of them are more for teenagers or older children. I mean, obviously these are not books that they're very sort of, they're not necessarily things that people are going to recognise because they're not set in livery yards, which is, how a lot of people keep horses now. These horses are sort of generally at home. There's the Horse and Black Lock. Can you see that? That's a nice adventure story. That's fun. That's a sort of good old 50s holiday adventure with sort of mystery and a mythical water horse who. See if I can find a picture.
They would be great gifts though as well for even like younger children, but like as a bedtime story that you kind of chip away a chapter or two every night if you've got a horse mad younger child. And then I know because my children are 6 now, and they love the kind of like stories at night when you read a chapter and then the next night they get another chapter. And my kind of thought is with some of the ones that we're doing with them now, they'll get to the point where they'll want to start reading a few of like a paragraph and kind of build them up, because they have their school books and things like that. But it's nice to see that kind of transition into a book that they're really, really interested in, rather than, what some of the school books are like. They're sort of, I'm really lucky. The boys are great, but I just feel like when we get something that really captures their attention, and they love it because it's something that they really love, it's just going to help them so much. And it must be the same with your books as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the same with, it was with mine. I have to say I failed totally to get mine to read pony books. I tried bribing my daughter and it didn't work. So just not interested at all, which is fair enough. Not everybody is interested in everything. And they did read a lot of the books I love, but absolutely failed on the pony book front. Just not their thing. But yes, again, the Horse and Black Lock is a lovely one. That's a sort of a nice one to read, I think, bit by bit. And the Pullin Thompson ones. I Wanted a Pony, which is a sort of classic.
I love
Girl
that.
Has No Pony, and that's another one with the illustrations as well. Daydream, and that's a lovely one to read because that's sort of every chapter sort of has a nice sort of ending, and then it sort of sets you up for the next one, and it's the real sort of dream come true of how someone gets a pony. If you haven't read that one, that is the one. It's an episode lots of people ask me about, what is the book, and it where the girl goes to an auction and she buys a pony, but then finds she doesn't actually have enough money, so she goes off to near a second-hand clothes shop and sells the silver buttons off her coat and her strawberry coloured church hat. I should say, it's not actually made of strawberry, and that's that book. So that's another nice one that's nice to read.
Oh wow!
They're all very girl orientated. The Pullin Thompson ones, I don't think they're as good for younger children to read. Particularly Josephine, because they're pretty technical, really, and so you do get a lot of things on how to ride, which is better, I think, if you're older and you're just really interested and you want to know about what to do with your inside leg and that sort of thing. Then.
So what do you think is going to be your kind of bestseller at Christmas? I know you've got some really great books there. What do you see sort of being under the tree, Santa to be delivering, or just other people giving as great gifts?
Well, my bestseller last month, which is quite cheering, is actually my own book.
Oh, brilliant!
So that's really nice. And the other bestseller is this one, which is part 4 of the Showing series by Caroline Ackrell. Oh, another bit of good news about Caroline Ackrell, who wrote the Aventers series with the Fanes, which lots of people will know. She's written a 4th episode that's just landed in my inbox this week.
Wow.
And we're going to be getting that out next month. And people have been asking me for that for years. And I've read half of it earlier this year, and it's brilliant. I absolutely loved it. So I think that's going to be, that will be I think a bestseller next year. But at the moment, this is part 4 of the Showing series, which originally was in Pony magazine, and then it just didn't appear anywhere else. It never got published. So we brought that out. So that's doing well. I mean, we do have sort of, not quite a health warning, but lots of it did get reused by Caroline in Ticket to Ride in the Avengers book. So just be aware of that. But it is a different story, and it just sort of does close that series off nicely. And it's nice to bring that back. And again, the illustrations, which were, gosh, they were fiends to do. So they really were. And this one's also got extras. I mean, lots of my books have got extras. So a publishing history, which, I mean, to geek me, I just love to know when a book was published. And then Karen Bush, who people might know, she's an agony aunt on Dogs Today and many other things, and has written some of the BHS books as well. She was a working pupil. That's what this book is about. It's about being a working pupil. And so she's written on what it was like being a working pupil. And there's also an article on Porlock Vale, which was obviously, huge back in the day. Alas, it's closed. So lots of my books will have sort of extras as well, which is probably more of interest to adults than children.
That's a great thing, isn't it? It's such broad appeal with your books, because if someone hasn't seen them, if they're children and they haven't seen them, it's great because for them it's that first experience. But for older people, we know them the first time round, and actually it's really cool to be reminded of all those lovely things, and also the excitement that you felt reading those books and kind of living your pony dreams through other people.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so it's nice to be able to bring these back. I mean, the feedback from people is really nice, and that's, it's good that people do enjoy them.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you would like to share with us today before I ask you all the places where people can find you online, and obviously where they can buy your brilliant books, because they're going to make such great Christmas presents for people?
I think I've told you about everything. I mean, the big thing upcoming is Jill Books next year. I mean, there's all sorts of things we're looking into, depending on if we get the illustration. So, it would be great to do hardbacks with dust jackets, proper books. So that's on the meter as well. And there will be books coming up by other authors. There's going to be more Patricia Litch, more Pullen Thompson's. Christine Pullen Thompson we're introducing. Haven't had anything from her before. And so it goes. And I'm still pursuing various other authors, hoping that one day I'll find out where their rights are and manage to track them down. So there's a lot of things coming up, as well as Jill.
Brilliant. And how can we find out about these? Do you have a newsletter people can sign up to, or is it more on your social media, or all of the above?
All of the above. If you go to my website, janebadgerbooks.co.uk, you can sign up to the newsletter. You can also, if you sign up, you can get a free biography of pony books to download. That's if you're interested in collecting them. Then you've got a list, so you can, if you're out shopping or whatever, you can use that. So there's the website. And I'm also on Instagram at Jane Badger Books, and Facebook, also Jane Badger Books. And there's a couple of other groups that I'm involved with on Facebook. If you like pony and horse books and want to chat about them or buy and sell them, so there's Our Old Pony Books, which is on Facebook, and there's a Republished Jill book group, which was sort of set up to lobby for republishing, and well that's happened. So, but it's just for Jill fans, and there's always lots of stuff about Jill going on in that one. So yeah, all those places, and
as you said, you can buy them either through your website, or if people just go to Amazon and search.
Yeah
If they search for you, will that, I know that'll show up the books that you've authored, but will it show up the rest of them? It should do. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jane. It's been great to chat to you. Do go and follow Jane. If you've got any questions, do reach out to Jane. She's very, very friendly and will help you. And if you do buy some books, let us know what you've bought. Let us know. You don't have to tell us who you're buying them for, unless it's you, and good for you. But if it's a Christmas surprise, don't tell us who, but I'd love to know if you have bought any, because it's great to see who is, you know, buying these books and enjoying them too.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. It's been great to speak to you.
Yeah,
Take care.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye-bye.